We have some massive news here about corruption, and this should be making giant headlines. The Hill reports the Inspector General of the General Services Administration, the GSA, on Wednesday issued a report that said it finds the agency ignored guidelines spelled out in the U.S. Constitution's Emoluments Clause by allowing President Trump to keep the lease on the building used by the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. The GSA's Inspector General wrote in a report that the agency ignored issues under the Constitution's Emoluments Clause that might cause a breach of the lease, while adding that the agency decided not to address those issues. Quote, "We also found that the decision to exclude the emoluments issues from GSA's consideration of the lease was improper because GSA, like all government agencies, has an obligation to uphold and enforce the Constitution, and because the lease itself requires that consideration," the report continues. Okay, so here's what this means in plain English. Donald Trump has a hotel in Washington, D.C. Whenever the leaders of any country comes to the U.S. to have a diplomatic meeting with people in our government, up to and including President Trump, they stay at that hotel. And they pay, oftentimes overpay. They pay a tremendous amount of money to the hotel. So, under our Constitution, the Emoluments Clause of our Constitution, a president cannot accept money from foreign governments for obvious reasons. If you have a president who's accepting money from foreign governments, how the fuck do we know that that president is acting in our best interest? In fact, it's most likely that they're not, that they're taking money from foreign governments and then they're doing the bidding of those foreign governments and giving them favorable policy. That is without a doubt unconstitutional. And that's what's happening right now. We covered the story not that long ago. Saudi Arabia is crafty in their corruption because what they do is they send groups of U.S. veterans to stay at Trump's hotel. They overpay the bill massively. And then they go to President Trump hat in hand going, "Mr. President, can we get another weapons deal? Over $100 billion weapons deal? And can you let us massacre innocent people in Yemen?" And President Trump, of course, ends up saying yes every single time. "Oh, you also massacred a Washington Post journalist, Jamal Khashoggi." "Who? What?" Yeah, it happens. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So he's taking money from foreign governments. They overpay at this hotel, and it's specifically because they're buying favors. So my response to this report is fucking duh. By the way, I'm of the belief if you're a president, you not only should you not accept money from foreign governments, you should be forced to get out of whatever businesses you're currently involved in. Because let's say it's not foreign governments who are buying influence. If you have a big business and you're a president, you know, you could easily have other rich people, other corporations buying favors by using your business a lot and overpaying and giving you a lot of money, giving you a lot of business, and then you'll feel inclined to do favors for them. Whether it be JP Morgan Chase or whether it be some health insurance company or whatever it might be. So, I mean, this is obvious. But now, it's not laid out in the Constitution that a president can't own a business. That's not laid out in the Constitution. But what is laid out in the Constitution is a president can't take money from foreign governments. It's not even a question that Trump has taken money from foreign governments through the hotel in Washington, D.C. It's not even a question. It's a fact. So not only is this unconstitutional, it's obviously unconstitutional. But we're also jaded by our fucking broken, disgusting, rotting, corrupt system around us that nobody even fucking blinked. Like, yeah, whatever, a president who's taking money from foreign governments at his hotel, and then he does favors for them. What are you going to do? What we're going to do is say, motherfucker, this is unconstitutional. You shouldn't be allowed to do it. There needs to be consequences. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to impeach him over this. But if there was ever a thing to impeach over, it's the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution, which he's been in violation of since day one. But I don't know. Is it possible for there? Is it also criminal in the sense that when he steps out of office, he could be indicted on charges in regards to this? We know he's probably going to be indicted in regards to money laundering and other financial crimes because he's done them and they're looking into them right now. But could you throw a charge at him in regards to this? I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, but what I do know is that it is unconstitutional and it shouldn't be allowed.